We are now 2 weeks. We're heading into the 2 week mark of Tekken 8 Season 2 being out. And if you're online in any way, if you're online on YouTube, Twitter, whatever the heck, people are not happy with Tekken 8 Season 2. It's no secret. Everybody has been vocal about their dislike of this new patch. Including myself, there are some things that this patch did that I'm not a fan of, whether it's specific to a character or system, whatever the heck. But the backlash of Tekken 8 Season 2 had been crazy, dude. I didn't expect it to be this bad. In fact, I'm trying to think of what this could be equivalent to. I'm trying to think, and the only thing I could think of is if any of you guys are fans of The Last of Us. Last of Us 1, great game, very well done, whatever, right? Last of Us 2 comes out, and The Last of Us 2, there were a lot of people that disliked that game because the story wasn't what they were expecting. Characters were not really following what they were built off of. They kind of got done dirty a little bit, and they just changed a lot of the landscape that was The Last of Us 1, and The Last of Us 2 kind of made it a little worse according to a lot of people. And if you played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Certain things happen in that game that really, it kind of is what the heck, you know what I'm saying? Another thing I could compare it to is Game of Thrones. I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I know people who do. And when that series ended, I remember there being a lot of backlash because apparently the way that the series ended, it left a lot of plot points. It changed a lot of storylines. It did characters dirty. There were deaths that had no point or were meaningless or were not done well. Overall, I remember there being a lot of backlash for the ending of Game of Thrones. So I'm just throwing this out there because this is kind of what I can compare Tekken 8 Season 2 to. The reception, the reaction that this season has gotten is kind of at that level. You know what I'm saying? In terms of Tekken overall, I don't think I've seen such collective negativity for a Tekken game in forever. In a really long time, I think. So now the question is, what happens to Tekken 8 moving forward? Because the developers, everybody on Twitter who's involved with Tekken 8, they've been silent. There has been not a single peep, no words from any of the accounts related to Tekken indicating on what the next steps for the game are. There's a lot of pro players, not even pros, many players, whether it's casuals, semi-pro, professional, whatever the heck. A lot of people are just saying revert the patch, revert the changes, go back to Season 1 and then start over. Honestly speaking, I would be amazed if that happens. I don't think they're going to go back to Season 1. I really don't think they're going to revert all the changes, go back to Season 1, fix a few things, and then release another Season 2, an updated Season 2 later down the line. I don't know. I would be amazed if that happens. To me, that's really unlikely. There's a lot of resources, time, whatever the heck that went into making the current Season 2. And for them to just roll it back, revert it, I don't know, man. I don't think that's going to happen. So that's the thing that's kind of up in the air, that everybody's all okay, revert the Tekken 8 changes to Season 1. But where does, how would you even do that? And then is that even realistic? I don't think it is. There's an emergency patch coming soon apparently, but we don't know when. They said mid-April to early May, definitely before the TWT kicks off. But at this point, the game is in such a weird state that nobody knows what's going to happen. Some people are mad that there's no communication by the developers, by Bandai Namco, Harada, Makomuri, Nakatsu, whatever the heck. Some people are mad that there's no communication, but at this point, the patch is so badly received that anything they say is just going to be... No one's going to want to hear it, you know what I'm saying? No one's going to want to hear it, and it's just going to cause more outrage and negativity. Not to mention, there are some people that already take this beyond the game itself. I've seen Twitter accounts, I've seen people taking personal shots at, people like Michael Murray, Harada, literal personal shots, low blows going beyond their jobs as a developer. I'm talking about like attacking their, saying stuff about their person, their family, threatening violence. What the heck? That's kind of like why, I don't know. It's really messed up. People can be messed up, and there's this whole boycott Tekken 8 website going on, and who knows how seriously that's going to be taken. I don't think that's going to be taken seriously at all. Simply because of what I said, a lot of the people signing up are these people that there's many people that signed up, but there are people kind of forging signatures. You know what I'm saying? That there's people faking, signing up as professional players, saying that they're boycotting the game and stuff like that. It just kind of ruins it. And I don't know, man. I'll be amazed if that boycott does anything. But beyond that, it's like, dang. Like, it's a really questionable spot. Now people are going to other Tekken games to play, whether it's Tekken 5 DR, Tekken 6, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, or Tekken 7. People are kind of trying to go back to other games, and I've always said, ever since Tekken 8 came out last year, a lot of people, it's funny because now people are like, go back to season 1, and I guess they didn't realize how good they had it, how good it was in Tekken 8 season 1. But I've always said that if people don't like Tekken 8, then they can go back and play the other Tekken games and keep those alive and hold tournaments and take it upon themselves to finance it and whatever the heck. This is going to be the test whether or not that happens, because a lot of people are all talk, you know what I'm saying? They're all talk, but they don't actually do anything long term. And you look at the Smash community. Smash community has kept Super Smash Bros. Melee alive for 20 plus years. It's like through sheer effort, and that it's amazing what the Smash community has built with Melee. The act of simply keeping that game alive for this long and relevant, it's pretty, you could say whatever you want about the Smash community, but in terms of keeping that game alive, you gotta give it up, you gotta give it up because they did it. So now, is the Tekken community gonna be all about that and keep one of the previous games alive? And if so, which one? And even then, it's kind of, if you've been around long enough, you might remember this, because I remember this. I definitely remember this. Nowadays, recently, because of Tekken 8 Season 2, what's been going on is that people are going back to Tekken Tag Tournament 2. There's a lot of people that are all like, Tag 2 was the best Tekken game ever made. It was a perfect game, whatever. That's real Tekken, whatever. A lot of the people saying that now hated Tag Tournament 2. They absolutely hated Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Back then, it was not well received at all. There were people who liked the game, and it was a great game. I personally liked the game, but many people didn't like Tekken Tag Tournament 2, so now they're flipping, you know what I'm saying? They're kind of doing the whole two-face, changing my mind, whatever the heck. They didn't like Tekken Tag Tournament 2 back then, but now suddenly it's a fun game. It's the best Tekken game. A lot of people fall into that category. It's weird. I might boot up my Tekken Tag Tournament 2. This might be a good chance for me to kind of go back into that game and do like a little throwback video or whatever the heck, just because I know I have a lot of time in that game. I spent a lot of time playing that game, and might be something interesting to kind of showcase here and kind of boot it up and relive that time of my life. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I really don't know what's gonna happen with this game, because it's in such a weird position at the moment. It really is. I'm confused. Like normally I feel like I could see what's coming. Like, okay, I feel like they might do this, but I'm like at a loss right now. I don't even know. And then if the community does want to keep a previous Tekken game alive, then that's going to be all on them, because I don't think there's going to be any funding coming from the actual team, and pour all their resources into the other game. Because Tekken 8 is what they want to succeed. And I guess if they wanted to succeed, they are probably going to have to listen to some type of feedback and maybe do a few changes little by little. I don't know. I guess it really does come down to the next patch that they release. Like, whatever statement they release next announcing future changes, that is going to be probably the most pivotal, crucial, key point, whatever the heck word you want to use to describe it. Anna is an amazing looking woman. Holy moly. I just realized I have the game booted up, right? I have the game booted up and she's just been staring at me the entire time. I'm like, dang, dude. She got the Claire Redfield outfit on too. That's a nice profile pic, like a face shot or whatever. It's very nice aesthetics. But moving on. I forgot what I was saying. I forgot what I was saying. The next communication by the team is going to be definitely critical. I don't know, to be honest. Yeah, man, I really don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, I don't think that they're going to revert all the changes. I don't think they're going to go back. It's one of those weird things where if they do that, it's like they're admitting that they were wrong. But at the same time, they spent all this time to work on season 2. There were so many changes. I would be amazed if they actually do revert all the changes. I don't think that'll happen. I'll be amazed. What else was I going to say? I was going to say something else, but I forgot. Overall, man, I think what I will do is, I kind of want to, like I said, I kind of want to get a refresher on the Tekken Tag Tournament too. I might hook up my PS3 and figure out how to have it on here on stream or video, whatever the heck. Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point, and it's really questionable. I think if they found a good balance of, honestly, like I said, when it comes to, I think the biggest problem is the aggressive nature and heat. Even if they just made it so if the heat meter could be built up instead of having it, at the start, I think even that would be a step in the right direction, and it would, what I'm saying? Like, instead of, have it build up instead. Even something like that would be helpful. Making heat engager a little bit less frames on activation, to allow more defensive options, whether it's sidestepping, backdashing away, maybe even mashing out a button and try to catch your opponent, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Really, it comes down to tweaking the heat system, and what I don't like is that some of the characters, I think in Tekken 8, all the patch notes, it feels like they made every character a stance character. You know what I'm saying? Characters like Fang, like why the heck is he, like, why are they making him go into stance so much? There's a place in Tekken for stance characters, but what was unique about them was that not everybody had a stance, and now they're trying to make everybody go into some form of stance to continue offense or something like that. I don't think that's needed. I think that definitely kills the identity and creativity of characters. In other Tekken games, characters had very clear strengths and weaknesses. I'm looking at Anna on the screen right now. She was always very good at a mix-up game, full crouch game, but her punishment game sucked. You know, it wasn't. It's not. It wasn't good. Uh, you know, there's characters who were very good at whiff punishing, but you know they lacked in other aspects of their gameplay. Um, you know, Christy and Eddie in Tag Tournament 2, Capoeira, they had, you know, they're Capoeira characters, so they were aggressive in that game, and they were very mix-up heavy because of how they play, their fighting style. Handstand mix-ups, relax mix-up. So they were very aggressive, but you couldn't sidestep. You know, they like Capoeira characters, Christy and Eddie, you couldn't sidestep with them. So that was a trade-off, but they couldn't sidestep, but they had an amazing backdash. So in previous Tekken games, there was always a clear strength and a weakness to characters that I think in Tekken 8 definitely got lost in translation. Like it's not there. It really does feel like many characters play the same, and I think that's kind of, you know, my personal take on it is that it should be less. There should be less universal mechanics to the game. Not everybody has to be a stance character. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like stuff like that. Overall, man, I don't know. I really don't know. It's up in the air. Radio silence from the developers, and there's been no communication. The next thing that comes out of their mouth is gonna be absolutely critical, because depending on what they say, they're gonna get eaten alive, or they're gonna be like, all right, man, like the community is gonna be like, all right, let me kind of give you a second chance here. But yeah, man, interesting times to be a Tekken fan, Tekken 8 fan. I'm still having fun with the game. I like the game, but like I said, just because I like it doesn't mean that I can't criticize it. There are a lot of things about it that could be a lot better. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I guess we'll see what happens. Oh man, yeah, that's really all I can think about at the moment. Maybe later other thoughts will come to my mind, but as of right now, I think that's really all I gotta say. I just, off the top of my head, just talking about the game and you know what I think about it, what might happen. I'm gonna call it here. Let me know what y'all think. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good day. Stay safe out there. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.